This is her most feral album, full of unfiltered rage, and in Petal, Ariana Grande explores the dichotomy of love and hate, public versus private personas, trying on different identities to please people, and also the resilience that comes with female rage. Let me tell you about Ariana Grande's 8th studio album. Everyone's been waiting for it. It's called Petal. It's said to be one of her most confessional works, and right after she released it, she also said she was stepping back from work indefinitely. She collaborated with longtime collaborators Max Martin and Ilya to create the album, and it's a short, concise, and to-the-point album about how she's really feeling at this moment in time. She explores a few key important themes here. First is the public versus private personas. Her album cover is a clear indication of this. You can see in the main album cover and in many of the other versions of the album cover, she shows her face and it's partially obscured by her hair or flowers or a blurring effect. It's almost as if to symbolize this core message of her album, that we know her, but we don't know the real her, that it's just a version of her. The visuals of the album borrow very heavily from an artist called Francesca Woodman. She was a famous photographer born in 1958 in Denver, and she took her first self-portrait at 13. She became world famous for her house series, which spans 1975 to 78. And she made this work while she was in college studying at the Rhode Island School of Design. She was known, especially in this house series of photographs, for her shape-shifting, gothic, and ghostly photography and images, and it's often what is quoted as being one of the major influences for the Tumblr aesthetic. And you can see this showing up in other pieces of album art that Ariana has released along with Petal as an album. You see lots of ghostly images with long exposures, Tumblr-esque font and photography, and it's almost as if she's having us visually question reality or the self. And you can see this theme in a big way in Francesca Woodman's art. In the house series, she's often playing with long exposures, and it looks like her body is emerging from floors or walls, and she's really playing with the audience's perception of reality. Oftentimes, it's as if something is hiding in plain sight, or that her sense of self itself is shifting, or that the house she's in is haunted, but in this case, she's the ghost and she has the power. And this kind of seems like a huge theme in Ariana's work on Petal. You can also see this questioning of reality or sense of self in Ariana's wordplay on the album. She uses a lot of love and hate in different lyrics on her song, Hate That I Made You Love Me. And in one song in particular, Oh Well, she straight up says, you don't even know me, and I play all the parts I'm supposed to, right? Another big way that this dichotomy pops up is literally through her use of the metaphor or symbol of a flower pushing through concrete or a petal in the pavement that she refers to in many of her songs and in the visuals of her music videos and album art. You can also see this echoed in Hate That I Made You Love Me, where she's physically being buried, and her references to flowers growing from the grave. The most interesting take on this theme is in the Petal music video, where you see that the music video itself is a movie within a movie. So we're almost questioning our sense of what's real, or who is the real Pepper in this case. Pepper is a persona that Ariana Grande has taken on in this new album series. Another big theme that plays into this idea of public versus private personas is the idea of trying on identities to please different people. In the Petal video, Ariana Grande literally has a lyric that talks about her trying on different roles, trying on identities, dating different people, and in Hate That I Made You Love Me, she uses the words while her fans decide who they are, or borrow her body, or holding their projections. Most obviously is this reference she makes in the Petal music video to Grease. Grease was a hugely popular musical. The movie adaptation was released in 1978. It had a $6 million budget and grossed $396 million worldwide. It is considered one of the highest grossing musical films of the 20th century. Long story short, the storyline of Grease follows a young couple, Sandy and Danny, and their core conflict is that they can't be together because Sandy is too straight-laced and Danny is a bad boy. In the end, spoiler alert, Sandy decides to go bad in order to win Danny's affection at the end of the film. Many critics have said that it can be read as regressive or as Sandy coming into her own power. Some people might think that she's changing herself in order to please a boy or win the affections of a boy, or others may say she's taking control of her own narrative by deciding to step into this new identity. In the Petal music video, Ariana Grande plays the main character of Pepper. We've seen Pepper in some of her other music videos for Petal, and Pepper is seen in the music video auditioning for various roles at a company called Fame Inc. She performs literally by auditioning and trying on different identities to win over her critics, or in this case, the casting directors. One of her characters, she literally dresses up as Sandy when they tell her that she's too homely and needs to change it up. This choice of Pepper's to go hypersexual after receiving feedback almost has us questioning, was it her choice to embrace this new identity, or was her hand forced, or does she feel like she's talked herself into thinking she has this sense of control over her situation by choosing to go in this route based on the critics' feedback? The other piece that comes up in Petal is this idea of female rage and a reversal of power. In 2 of her released videos, she borrows visual language and themes from movies in the horror genre. Usually in a horror movie, the female characters all end up dead, and she talks about this in some of her lyrics. In Hate That I Made You Love Me, she literally says, "Tell me, why is it this way? Why you so hate to see women endure?" And in Petal, she says, "But I don't need someone to save me because this music and I will never die." It's almost like she's dropping breadcrumbs to let us know that despite this horror show that she's living through, she is going to persevere because she's using her rage to take control of her situation. Her Petal music video also calls to mind references to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I know, bear with me. Made in 1974 with mostly unknown local actors, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie follows a group of friends that drive out to an old family house and come across another family of cannibals. I know. It claimed to be based on real events, but was actually entirely fiction, so it was kind of like a Blair Witch situation. It helped invent the slasher genre and was even banned in some countries when first released. And most importantly, Texas Chainsaw Massacre prompted film scholar Carol J. Clover's final girl theory. The final girl theory really applies mostly in movies that serve a primarily male audience and had a woman as the last survivor. Carol noted that often the survivor had an androgynous, gender-neutral name like Sydney, Jess, or Pepper, and was typically the good one, an innocent, a responsible girl. And she often notices signs of danger before her friends do. Instead of submitting to her fate, she fights back and wins in the end. The trope has been played with over the years and changed over time, naturally. For example, Sydney in the Scream series survives by using the killer's weapon against them. And in this case, Sweet Pepper, the main character of the Petal music video, uses a chainsaw on executives starring as the murderer in her own film, which we later realize is truly a film within a film. Pepper's also dressed in yellow, which I would like to point out is the signature color of the original murderer from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The murderer's name is Leatherface, and he famously wears a yellow apron. It's almost as if she's having us question, is she the final girl, the killer, or both? Tell me what you think in the comments below.